Lots of college football free plays coming your way in just a moment, but let's turn back the clock for 24 hours. Friday, of course, the start of the college basketball season. Couldn't have gone any better as far as I'm concerned. Cashing in last night with my opening tip-off game of the year, a 10-dime release as Virginia Tech, the 8 to 8.5 point favorite, rolled over a Tennessee team that is not the same Tennessee team that went to the Sweet 16 a year ago. And then I gave you a 3-0 free play sweep here on the video report. First, the Hawks over Miami easily in the NBA. I say easily because without D-Wade, the Heat had no chance. And then in college basketball, I give you a 28.5 point favorite on Wisconsin that covered at home against Northern Kentucky, and then told you that my second favorite play on the board, a game that I came this close to betting on myself, UTEP would get the job done at home against Washington, and they did. And let me just reiterate what I said in yesterday's video report, which I have said so many times over the years, guys, and it's something for you to keep in mind as the college football season winds down here in the month of November. The opening 2 to 3 weeks of any season is the only time that you have the advantage over the odds makers, because they have no more clue and no more firm grasp on what's going on with these teams out there because of the sheer magnitude and number of teams that are playing than you do. So you can often find so many soft lines, and you can't be afraid to lay the big numbers with the power conference teams that are playing cupcakes early in the season in non-conference play. Again, the odds makers can only set that line, so high, and yet you can still find value. I know probably some of you were laughing when I told you to play Wisconsin yesterday, minus 28 points. But geez, did they not get the job done? I mean, they could have won the game by 50 if they wanted to. Now, that doesn't mean I'm advocating for you to go out and lay 42 points with every single heavy chalk from a power conference here in the next couple of weeks. But again, take a look at the numbers. It's the only time you will have the advantage over the odds makers. It generally, in my estimation, takes the odds makers about 4 to 5 games for most of your major conference teams for them to really get a grasp. And you're going to see those numbers tightening up, and you're going to see a lot sharper number being produced here in a couple of weeks. But again, take advantage in the interim. This, of course, being Saturday, you know the drill, guys. Each and every Saturday for the past 3 years, I've given you a money-saving discount coupon code that could save you potentially hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price, and today is no different. You can save 25% off your total purchase price today by using coupon code 25%. That's 25PERCENT. 25%. Remember, this is a mix and match coupon, which means you can use it to buy any combination of handicappers picks and or packages here at the site. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon. So you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time. You can't come in and buy Jeff Benton's big play and later in the day come in and buy, let's say, Steve Buden's Cali Cartel's big play. You got to buy everything at one time, put it in your shopping cart, and then save 25% off your total purchase price. This is a wonderful coupon, as you know, and if you don't, if you're a newcomer, especially if you happen to be involved in a long-term package with a particular handicapper. Let's say you are in midway through a 30-day package with Jeff Benton and you have 14 days, let's say, left on your 30-day package. You could buy another 30-day package today, save 25% using the coupon code. Then instead of having 14 days, you would have 44 days left of your package. And if you have any instant rebates that are applicable, they also will work as well to reduce your net total purchase price. If you have any questions, just contact customer service. It's that easy. Hey, FYI, quick congratulations going out to Trace Adams yesterday, cashing in with the biggest college basketball release of his career in 11 and a half years here as a charter member of the site. Virginia getting the job done easily against James Madison. And you got that play at a huge discount at just $34. Also yesterday, Steve Buden's Cali Cartel did it again. You got their 50-dime college winner. Number 9 out of 10 was Central Florida, laying the 19.5 points and taking care of business last night against Tulsa. You got that winner for just $34, a savings of $75 off the regular price. Just like you got Thursday's 50-dime winner at a savings of $75 off the regular price for just $34 on Cincinnati outright over East Carolina. Just like you got last Sunday's 50-dime winner on the Packers, humiliating the Bears for just $34. Listen, today, something bigger. Steve Buden's #1 football crew, the Cali Cartel, today, their 100-dime double your wager game of the year. It's the Saturday night side, Florida State Miami of Florida. 17-5-1 start in football this season. 9-1 with 50-dime college football releases, including Georgia Tech as a 4-point favorite each of the past 2 weeks, rolling big time at NC State last Saturday and beating up Virginia 35-10 at home 2 Saturdays ago. And this play is twice as strong. You save $70 by using coupon code CALI, C-A-L-I. And today, Jeff Benton, 5th ever 200-dime college football release of his career. He, like Trace Adams, a charter member of the site, over 11 and a half years strong. And today, he is also going for winning day number 19 out of 25. 5th ever 200-dime college lock of his career. It's his Road Warrior Lock of the Year. It goes on the nighttime card. Okay, it's not the same play as Steve Buden's Cali Cartel, just to answer for those inquiring minds out of there. 200-dime winners each of the past 3 Saturdays. Last week, Georgia Tech beating up North Carolina State in Raleigh by 33 points. 2 weeks ago, Duke outright in double overtime at Pittsburgh. 3 Saturdays ago, Rice by 20 over North Rice. You got all of them for over half price off today. Save $70 again by using coupon code JEFF. Jeff. FYI, $10 bettors have won over $21,000 following his advice since April. And this is twice as strong, over twice as strong actually, as the 5 straight 75-dime NFL winners he's delivered over the past couple of weeks, including the Dolphins on Thursday night, including the Panthers over the total against Philadelphia on Monday, including the Broncos over the total against the Raiders last Sunday. So that's what Jeff Benton has going. All your other discounts, all your other major promotions are over on the homepage, so check it out on your own time. Let me get to a bunch of free picks here for you. I'm looking at the Georgia-Auburn game, and I see an Auburn team that is in a difficult spot, because how do you get off the floor after laying over 3 touchdowns last week at home against Texas A&M? Finding yourself down by 3 touchdowns early, coming back in that game, having a chance to pull out the victory and maintain your top 4 playoff ranking, and then 2 costly turnovers in the last couple of minutes in that game, killing their hopes, costing them the game. How does Auburn get up for this game between the hedges? Now, we could have said the same thing last week against Georgia, okay, about Georgia. Because remember, it was just 2 weeks ago, Georgia went to Jacksonville, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. And what happened? The Florida Gators destroyed them in that game, right? But they rebounded after losing that 38-20 game that was not even nearly as close as anyone would say on the scoreboard showed. And they went to Kentucky and they rolled 63-31. Well, the difference between Auburn and Georgia is that Georgia got to play Kentucky. Auburn gets to play Georgia. Georgia, Kentucky, ain't no comparison. That's the bottom line. You get my drift here, right? So, also Georgia has a big benefit, an emotional lift that they're going to get from the return of Todd Gurley, who has now completed the 4-game suspension that he has served. So they get probably the number 1 running back in next year's draft back in action. And FYI, why he's been out, his substitute, who's, oh God, what the heck is his name? It's Nick Chubb? Nick Chubb, who has only run for 805 yards to carry the Bulldogs in his absence. What a 1-2 punch Georgia now has, right? And let's not forget their quarterback, Houston Mason. He's thrown for over 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Again, this is about an Auburn team that I think is going to be really in a tough spot to try to get off the carpet after what happened to them last week at home. Neither one of these teams have much defensively. Both of them could put points on the board. Both of them can run the ball effectively. But again, this is a revenge game for Georgia. They lost last year in the Plains 43-38. They have won 3 at home in a row in the series, so I'm going to go with Georgia. In their first true home game in about a 6-week period, they get the job done as a 2.5-point favorite. Obviously, the line goes to 3. You go ahead and buy down the half point on the Bulldogs. Another team in a similar situation as Auburn, and ironically from the SEC, it's LSU. Okay, LSU a couple weeks ago, they pulled off the big upset against Ole Miss, right? Then last week, they had Alabama in their sights. They should have beaten the Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide ties it late and then wins it in overtime Saturday night in Death Valley in Baton Rouge. How often does that happen? And now you're asking LSU to find its way on the road today against Arkansas. And a lot of you out there say, hey, Al, Arkansas has lost 17 straight games in SEC play. But I say to you, I think Brett Bielema has gotten this team on the cusp of finally getting the breakthrough, and he gets the breakthrough win today. He's basically, even though he's been under a lot of criticism, he's basically built a Big Ten team in the Southeast Conference in Little Rock. That's what's happened in Fayetteville. You look at this Arkansas team, they run the ball relentlessly. They've got a big, massive offensive line, but their defense has been getting better and better as the season's gone on. Hey, remember when they opened the season and they gave Auburn all they could handle on the road early in the year? And look at some of the other games. I mean, they lost 14-13 to Alabama. They lost 45-32 to Georgia, another close game. They blew a late fourth quarter lead and lost 35-28 in overtime to Texas A&M. Again, this is a situation where I think the LSU Tigers are going to be hard-pressed to get up the floor. And I know that they haven't lost consecutive games since 2008. But, streaks are meant to be broken, and that's the bottom line. And listen, Arkansas almost beat LSU last year because LSU's current starting quarterback, Anthony Jennings, last year he capped a 98-yard drive coming off the bench with a 49-yard touchdown pass with a minute 15 to go in Baton Rouge to give LSU the 27-21 win. So I think the Hogs, well rested, coming off the bye with the home team winning 5 of the last 6 straight up in the series. This is where you go take Arkansas and you call for them to win that game outright. A couple of other games taking a look at here. I think Duke can get the job done against Virginia Tech. I think it's going to be a close game. I see the line is 4. It would not surprise me to see Duke escape with a 6-point win. Duke is an interesting team. And listen, David Cutcliffe has just done a tremendous job down there. Duke is a team that gives up 18 points a game. Pretty damn good in scoring defense, right? Even though they give up over 400 yards per game to an opponent's offense. So it's kind of like a bend but don't break defense that they've got here. Big spot for Duke because this is the first of a 3-game homestand to conclude the season. They're coming off road wins, 27-10 at Syracuse, 51-48 in double overtime against Pittsburgh. They beat Virginia in their last home game, 20-13. They're 8-1 on the season with their lone loss coming against Miami of Florida on the road. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech's coming off a 33-31 home loss to Boston College, a 30-6 loss at home to Miami. Their last road game, 21-16 loss at Pittsburgh. They're just 2-5 in their last 7 overall, and this is not a very good Virginia Tech team. For years and years you've heard that Virginia Tech has that Bud Foster defense. Well, Bud Foster's defense hasn't done much this year. That's the bottom line. I mean, the Hokies, forget about offensively. They've got no ground game. Michael Brewer, their quarterback, the Texas Tech transfer, he had one great game against Ohio State in week number 2, and since then it's been inconsistency and all downhill. You've got a team that gives up a lot of big plays in Virginia Tech, and that's what hurts them. This year, Virginia Tech, Bud Foster's defense, has allowed 56 plays of 20-plus yards. That's 118th among 123 Division 1A teams in the country. They've given up 27 runs of 20-plus yards this season. That's second to last in the country. So that shows you how vulnerable they have been. Then you look at how these teams have done in Vegas. Duke has won 16 of its last 17 games straight up and going 13-3-1 ATS, and that's regular season games, okay? Meanwhile, Virginia Tech, you talk about a money burner. I mean, this team has just been a dreadful play in Vegas, cashing in at only about a 33% clip here over the past few years. So again, even though Duke has a big look-ahead game with North Carolina, their biggest rival on Thursday night, I think Duke is the play here. It's going to be a close game. It's a 4-point line. And I'll tell you what, if I had them anywhere between 3.5 and 4.5, I would buy down the half point on the Dukies in this game. Another game for you I think is kind of interesting is Western Michigan, minus 27.5 points at home against Eastern Michigan. Now, the Eagles, that's Eastern Michigan, are coming off a 38-7 loss to Central Michigan. They're 1-7 in their last 8 with their lone win coming at home against Buffalo. They've lost on the road 36-14 at UMass. They've lost on the road 31-6 at Akron. That's in conference play. They got drilled at Michigan State 73-14. They lost at Old Dominion, for Christ's sake, 17-3. Meanwhile, the Broncos, that's Western Michigan, they're coming off a 41-10 win against Miami of Ohio on the road, and they're coming off a bye. They've won 4 straight since losing at home to Toledo and at Virginia Tech. They've scored 42, 26, 42, and 41 points in their last 4 games, and they are undefeated against the point spread this year. 9-0 in Vegas, okay? But here's the problem. They're going to obviously run the ball effectively today because the freshman, I think he pronounced his name Jarvion Franklin, who's averaged 162 yards the last 4 games. You know, he's going against Eastern Michigan defense, which is ranked last in stopping the run in the Mid-American Conference. But the problem is, and by the way, he has also run for over 1,300 yards and 22 touchdowns this season. The problem is, though, is that, this has been a series that's been dominated by Eastern Michigan. Matter of fact, Western Michigan, the Broncos, are in triple revenge entering this contest. And you're getting no value because everybody looks at this game and they say, oh, my God, Western Michigan 9-0 against the spread. Well, I'm telling you, it's not like they're going to come out and say, hey, we're going to be up 28-0 before the end of the first quarter. You got to work awfully damn hard to put a number on the board big enough to cover that 27.5-point spread. And I think this is going to be a situation that you ride Eastern Michigan. And I wouldn't be surprised if they, the Eagles, hang around within the number or come up late and get the back row cover in this one. Again, Eastern Michigan, 3 straight upsets in this series. And this is one of the 2 biggest games of the year for Western Michigan, the other one being their next game against Central Michigan. Eastern Michigan run the ball very effectively. And, what can I tell you? Western Michigan, for all their offensive exploits, they can't stop the run either. So I think you go ahead and you grab the 27.5 points with Eastern Michigan in that one. So Eastern Michigan is one of your plays. Going to take them as a road dog. Going to take Duke at home. Also going to take Arkansas to finally break their SEC losing streak. And I'm going to back Georgia at home against Auburn. One more play for you. I forgot Marshall. Minus 21.5 points. Games at 2:30 Eastern time today against Rice. Marshall gets absolutely no respect from the playoff poll committee, the ranking committees. I mean, they barely made it into the national top 25 polls. Remember, it was just 2 years ago, 2012, in the Conference USA title game. They were a 6.5-point favorite, and Rice jumped on their asses early and rolled 41-24. Hurd last week down 14-0 at Southern Mississippi before the offense even took the field. Before they ran one play, they were down 14-0. Oh, by the way, they won 63-17, which also speaks volumes about how bad Southern Miss is, right? This is a team has a big offensive line. They ran for 335 yards last week against Southern Miss on the road, and that's despite the fact their top running back didn't even play in the game, and he's back today. They have scored at least 42 points in all but one game this season. They've only allowed more than 17 points twice this year. The Owls, they've won 6 in a row. Who have they beaten? Texas San Antonio, Florida International, North Texas, Army, Hawaii, Southern Miss. Do these teams have more than 9 wins combined on the season? I mean, is this murderer's row? I don't think so. Marshall has won 12 in a row at home straight up. 8-1-1 ATS is a home chalk. So I say go ahead and lay the little over 3 touchdowns here with Marshall, and that's your final free pick. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Sunday when we do this one more time for your NFL action.